We'll go ahead and call this meeting to good for, and we're gonna have Dawson Souter will give the pledge, and Ron Fisher will give a prayer to stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll be in the attitude of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we give this pledge, we pray, and we know that we live in the greatest country in the world. We pray that we continue to keep it that way. We pray that all the things that come up, the various things that demote us, we pray that we'll always gain and be ahead. We pray for our country. We pray for the service people representing and defend us. We pray for each one here today as we go through our government issues and have discussion, have good, fair discussion, and all our decisions will be made that is favorable in your sight. Take us now through this day and forgive us of our shortcomings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I'm conducting the meeting on behalf that Ben's kind of under the weather. He's supposed to take light loads and not understress.
Yeah, there you go.
So, anyway, bear with me if I miss something in the process, but we'll take a look at the minutes of the July 2nd meeting. They've been sent out. I think I have put some in front of your desk. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes at this time? If so, let them be known. If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve. Mervyn Fisher's made the motion. Do I have a second? John Revels has made a second. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, saying. I usually go by a yea or a nay instead of a hand vote, so if it gets real tight, I might ask for a hand vote so we can count on that. So, motion passed.
By statute, you have to ask for hand vote
Hand vote, all right.
on the council.
Okay, hand vote then. All right, I vote. I think it's unanimous, so I learned something today. All right, Andrew Wright, with 9:30 scheduled on the agenda, hospital estate title public hearing. Seeing that Andrew is not here, Mark, where do we go from there?
Mr. Wright has contacted both myself and Tom Sykers. First of all, let me state, or if I may, we will also open this meeting as previously advertised as a public hearing on a third joint resolution of the Board of Directors of Critical Access Health Services, the Board of Commissioners of Washington County, and the Washington County Council. Is anyone from the public here to speak upon a joint resolution that has been brought forth to the Commission, to the Washington County Council? Hearing no one from the public wishing to speak, there has been tendered a third joint resolution, which is a cleanup resolution, if you will, from time flies by now, 2-3 years ago when the Critical Access Health Services Corporation was formed in preparation for trying to resolve financial issues with the hospital that ultimately led to the decision after much discussion and thought as to the bankruptcy proceeding. What has been discovered since that time is that the real estate description that was used in transferring property of the hospital from the Washington County Hospital Corporation to the Board of Trustees of the Critical Access Health Service Corporation, the original and second resolution both had incorrect property descriptions. The property over there is a mess. You don't know, for instance, Homer Street is never really, that goes up through that parking lot's really never been designated as a street to the county, or to the city. The street that cuts through there through the school, that's all school land, that's not designated. What you think it is, it really isn't. Okay, so there's this chunk of property and that chunk of property and all this stuff. So Drew has been in touch with myself. He's been in touch with Tom Sykers for the county commissioners tomorrow. This is just a cleanup resolution to make a correction to the property description that was originally enacted and second no one is here from the public to speak either for or against. I mean, it needs to be done because it's trying to keep the property descriptions and titles correct on the property. So I would ask you to seek a motion for the county council to approve the third joint resolution transferring the real estate to the Critical Access Health Services Corporation.
So moved.
Mark Manship has made this first, second, Ben Bowling. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take it to a vote for the joint resolution by hand. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same, unanimous.
I'm not gonna send it now, we've got other things to deal with, so before you leave, everybody's signature needs to be
Okay,
on.
make sure that you do that.
John Fultz, I'll get this over this morning or this afternoon to Tom Cyphers, and he'll bring the commissioner's picture tomorrow.
Okay, anything else on
Not
that?
on that.
All right, we'll.
Public hearing, we'll close the public hearing on the joint resolution for the record as well.
All right, that's closed. So
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Carol.
We'll move along to Julie Mohammed of Live Spring, if you would please.
Oh,
That's not.
Not gonna happen.
I'm not.
Marta is not Julie Mohammed, but she may be here for Life
All right,
Spring.
for Live Spring.
I'm here for life.
All right. If you want to come on up and give your presentation.
Okay.
We haven't had you on the hot seat, so.
You really haven't.
Not
Could
for a
you
couple of
please
years.
state your name for the record?
Yeah, my name is Marta Mizak. I'm Senior Vice President for Area Clinical Services at Life Spring.
Okay, the floor is yours.
All right, it has come to our attention, as you're aware, you all pay Life Spring a designated amount each year to function as the community mental health center in your county. That amount is defined as the previous year's assessment times a growth quotient, which is established by the State Board of Accounts. If I'm not correct on this, Mark, you correct me. Over the last 3 years, you have paid us a nice round $100,000 each year. The problem with that is that the actual assessed rate is higher than that for each of the past 3 years. In 2009, we were owed $113,593.23 when we got $100,000. In 2010, we were owed $117,909.78. We got $100,000. And in fiscal year 2011, we were owed $121,329, and we got $100,000. So we're a bit in the hole to you, or you're in the hole to us, I guess, other way around. We're willing to forego the 2008-2009 deficits. However, we do request the $21,329 for fiscal year 2010. And for this year, you have paid us $50,000 thus far. The total amount for this year is $124,726. So the balance of that is $74,726. So what we're requesting, we're foregoing the previous two, or the first 2009 and 2010, and we're requesting a total of $96,056 to finish this year and to make up for the deficit from last year.
Understanding this is 2012, and you're going back in those years. And I'm going to defer to Mark, here, but that's a question.
Marta, we did receive the letter of July 18, 2012, and you've gone over it. I've got it here in front of me. You've gone over it very well. This has been discussed, and we are in the, when I say we, the county, on behalf of the county, this was forwarded to me. I don't know if she forwarded, I did forward back to Ms. Mohammed some information. She has given me the memos that she referred to.
Right.
We are discussing this with DGOF, and we are looking at it. And for sure for 2012, we understand the growth quotient, and we understand the logic where you're coming from. By the end of the month, Life Spring will have our formal answer back to, not to be aggressive to what I see as a demand letter. That's the way lawyers look at this stuff. Okay, to your, here's where we're at, you owe us a 96, I'll pay it up. I mean, we understand that's where you're coming from, we understand the logic you're using.
Yeah, well, that's where our controllers come in.
I
This is
understand.
Not my fault.
This is not you didn't generate this.
I'm
That's-
just the
that's
designated
correct.
bidder here
Yeah.
today.
And so, when you go back and have to call them this afternoon, say, yes, I presented in front of the council, and the council was Ms. Muhammad, probably I'll copy both her and Mr. Starwood, Terry.
Stawar.
Stawar, Mr. Stawar, with our response, and that will come by the end of the month,
Okay,
as to how we feel we have to address this.
okay.
Okay?
Can I answer any questions for anybody?
I was involved in a mental health issue as a director of ER at Seymour a few years ago, and maybe way back, but I thought there was a contract between, in that county, I think there was a contract between Quinco and Jackson County.
Some mental health centers contract with provide, for example, with jails and with hospital to provide like ER coverage, jail coverage. We've always just done that in Washington County. Like, we get called to the ER, we just go. We get called to the jail, we just go.
So there's not a contract between the city, or between the county and Life Springs for all services?
No, I mean, Mark, you can probably, it's by statute. Each county has to pay this designated assessed amount in order to maintain a community mental health center.
I think
in each
Mark's
county.
question really
Well,
is,
that-
how does that designation of who the mental health person
How does that
agency
occur?
is, yes.
Well, Indiana's divided up into regions. We have 6 counties. Life Spring has 6 counties. I think there are about 28 mental health centers in Indiana, and they each have designated counties that they serve. Quinco was Jackson County. Quinco's now Centerstone. They're kind of everywhere. But they have Jackson County.
Does Life Spring have to bid that? How often does the state, how often does somebody else come in and say, for the 6 counties, including Washington, Mark Clark Mental Health Center would like to be the designated recipient?
That can happen. It doesn't, it happened over in Jefferson County, which is one of our counties. Quinco or Centerstone tried to go in over there and get part of Jefferson County when, you know, in all fairness, we had kind of minimized our services over there. We didn't have nearly the facility over there that we have here, or
But-
the staff.
I mean, isn't that all done at state level?
Yeah, that's all done
always
at state
my
level,
understanding.
and,
Some
you know, they didn't get that
commission or-
job done, but, you know, mental health centers can decide they wanna move in and take over a county, but rarely ever happens. But in terms of the ER services.
Maybe they had a contract with ER, maybe that's
Yeah.
the contract that was.
They probably did. They may have had a contract with the ER, you know, a lot of places have ER contracts, jail contracts to cover.
You could do that
services.
separately with St. Vincent's. I mean, you could
Yeah,
go
we
to St.
could do that.
Vincent's and say, hey, we'll
We could do that.
figure $80,000 a year.
Yeah, for example, Harrison County pays Life Spring about $36,000 a year to provide jail services in the jail. We just do that here, so you guys really get a deal, so you understand that. Okay.
Going back on the timeline, this is 2012, and you're going back. How did this be caught on your part and then instead of on 2008?
That was my question. I asked that as well, and I said, I'm sure that's gonna be the first question I'm asked. The answer I was given, and it makes some sense to me, in 2010, that's when we would have looked at the 2009 numbers, we went to a new computer system. And we also got a new controller in that same year. And the only thing I can say is, they missed it. They missed it for whatever reasons. If you've ever converted to a new computer system, you know what kind of chaos that can create.
So there was something internal in your part that you found, I mean, as far as us, we would assume that we were in good with Life Spring. Yes.
Right, except that you probably didn't really think you owed $100,000 even, because there odd amounts all over the place. This system changed in 2004, I believe, and that's when this growth quotient thing was added in. I think the state provided some trainings for counties on how this should have worked back then. I don't know if we got any of that training. It's kind of a complicated process.
We've seen we've heard the formula.
Right.
We haven't had a chalkboard big enough to put it on.
Right, I understand. It's, we have to go to the state too.
Well, let them to be knowing that we are taking it under advisement. We're looking at our own figures to really compare it with yours, and so we will try to do a response with them.
Okay.
So,
By the end of this month, yeah.
by the end of this
Do
month.
you want a copy or you just want me to send it down?
Oh, you can just,
I figured it.
okay.
Less paperwork you have, the better, all right?
Yeah,
I understand.
all right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Marla. Take care.
Okay, we'll move on to additional appropriations. Do you want to do that or do this first? Okay, we're gonna go to additionals.
We have 8,000 out of the rainy day fund. And that was for our part of the Blue River cleanup.
Okay.
Take on it.
All right, we have 8,000 additional for the Blue River cleanup. And what I understood out of that, we got $20,000 from Harrison County. Is that correct, John?
Yes.
You know, for the emergency on
On
that?
it.
Yeah. So the extra 8,000 will take care of our in-kind part and cash balance. The county's obligation on the cleanup. The rest of it was taken care of through the USDA grant. So the $8,000 appropriation will be moved from where to a rainy day fund?
It's gonna be paid out of the rainy day fund.
It will come out of rainy day fund. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
Question.
Yeah, yes.
This doesn't really tie in directly with this, but is there any provision that allows the cleanup on 60 Below Peak in there? That stream is just packed with Cedar Creek. Is there any provision for that?
This ended up just being a provision for about 3.5 miles of the river that was designated from point A to point B, you know, for the project.
Yeah.
Scope of the work could have been enhanced a little bit if it had the immediate tornado damage, but I am very well that there are several log jams and different issues down along Blue River that need, that eventually will have to be addressed, you know, there's a lot of stream bank erosion because of it. But as far as this scope of the work, it would go with a designated AD type of scope of work
In ours, in RCS,
in our CS.
basically told us.
That's nice, Dave.
Well, NRCS basically told us, I mean, this is the thing Dave and I worked on with the commission. They told us where it's gonna go. I mean, they already had it, when they came to the county, they already had, like he's saying, the point A and point B. So, I don't know if that wasn't in there, they weren't even talking to them to say, hey, we're gonna stretch it out another 3 miles to get some other stuff.
Well, this would be a matter of hundreds of feet, but it's still
Yeah.
important.
It's important.
To have a flood.
Yeah.
Right, right. Do we have a motion for the appropriation?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, Merton Fisher made the motion,
Second.
second John Reynolds. It's open for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same, motion carried. Okay, next one.
Is the $85,023 out of the Riverboat League's revenue share fund for the Medicare reimbursement.
This deals with what we had with the hospital and that, so this should be a finalized bill, right? Okay, we do have that much in there.
I mean, we do have, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, we do, never mind, we do. I'm
I
thinking
was gonna
something
say,
else.
we will have versus we do.
No, I'm thinking something else, forget it.
This is deal with the Medicare overpayment, transferring funds from the Riverboat Wage Revenue Share Fund of $85,023.
that takes care of the whole thing now, it's done.
That's what this letter right here, I think, says. It's got Part A, Part B, and it's got an $85,023 insurance.
Merlin, raise your question, Merlin.
Well, I thought it was about 73.
Well, look at the letter.
Well,
I think that was the figure that first came, and then they've got a Part B, and they've got that in negative as a loss. Mark, do you understand this?
Yeah, Part B is the physician side of it, so anybody, any physician employed by the hospital, if they overpaid whatever they were supposed to pay, that's what Part B would be.
So when it said, when Part B is in parentheses, what does that mean as compared to Part
That
A?
means that was overpaid.
So Part A is,
Is the facility, the hospital's billing for rooms, for supplies, for drugs, for all that stuff.
so are they subtracting 158,668 minus the 73 to come up with the 85? So,
Doesn't that work out?
yeah, it looks like it to me. And then, so are they saying basically they overpaid the 73?
No, yes, exactly.
They actually,
On the hospital side.
the hospital
They
side,
were paid none.
okay,
On
they
the
were
doctor
paid.
side, they were paid 2 months,
Okay.
which I disagree with totally, but.
Yeah, you would. So that's where the 73 figure came up, and Merwin, that's right. I mean, I think on the first, when the first mailings came out, it was a 73 figure, and I've not gone back, but I think it was that figure.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I see. I see where you're at.
Which again, for those of you who may be new on the council, this was part of the deal back 2 years ago now, 3 years ago
We're
now.
lucky to.
Oh, we thought this would be over $1 million.
Yeah, we're very
The
lucky.
council at the time, John was president, I think.
about 1.5 million.
Right, we thought it would be well into 1.5, 1.3
I
million.
make a motion to
So-
approve.
And it was only involved in 1 year, 2010.
No,
No.
it wasn't, well, it may say that, but this, to follow the question about is this the total bill? This was to be their complete review up to the day St. Vincent's purchased the hospital.
Then they got to
The
talk
letter
about
doesn't say that.
I
Then they got
understand.
to talk about 400,000.
For order of business, we have a motion on the floor. Also, you've made a motion. Do I have a second for the mention of Ben Bowie? Now it's open for discussion.
The letter goes January 31st,
It only
2010.
involves 1 year.
Well, but
No,
it involves like 3 years. They had
they
total.
just carry it forward each year.
Yeah,
Actually, it says on that date they reviewed it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say the time frame that they reviewed.
I understand what you're asking.
I think-
It says
This-
that.
I think you may be right.
Yeah.
This clears us through the end of 2010.
I think you may be right. As they reviewed each cost report each year, there's been a running total
Oh,
that
yeah.
did come down, and now they've reviewed the last one
Yeah.
that we're responsible
Responsible
Right.
for.
Now, our responsibility stopped at when with the hospital?
January 2010, I kind of don't,
January 31st? Would that have been correct?
it will stop with that letter there, yes.
So we have nothing that should come up.
Right, everything else is on St. Vincent's
Okay.
After that.
after the reviews of the years ending, physical year ending January 31st, 2010.
Have a motion and a second. Have discussion, or is there any more discussion?
You want to discuss paying this in full?
Our agreement with them was that we would pay an amount equal each year to whatever their employees paid in county income tax. That's why we were able to say, even if it's $1 million, we'll take care of it. Because that would be about $100,000 a year. And it might, at that time, we thought it might take 20 years to pay it off, but we would do that.
That never happened.
That's right.
Well,
What is the figure, though, of the income tax they paid last year?
to say it never happened, we passed the ordinance. It was never implemented because we were always waiting for this. I don't want to sound like anybody,
They have paid more than $85,000.
I'm sure they have paid more than that.
So we just gotta pay it.
I don't want to be, yeah, you say that. I mean, they have always said that they would work with us. I think if you wanted to pay half, half. But if you want to go ahead and get it done and get it out of your way, I understand that too.
They
I
have
mean,
the
that's-
money,
Yeah,
the motion's been made.
And seconded.
Yep. Okay, and there seems no more discussion, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor of going ahead and paying the $85,023 Riverboat?
Riverboat wage revenue share.
Well, let me go back to my question. Where are we at then on the river road as far as the road money?
We're
Different
talking
fund.
two different riverboats.
It's the riverboat share.
Oh, we're taking this out of the wager, Indianapolis wager?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
Over the years, a little more's come in on that than we paid out, it's built up.
Yeah.
So it's there, it's not up.
Everybody clear what we're voting on? Okay, all in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same, motion carried, unanimous. Any other appropriation?
No, that's it.
It's all the appropriation.
What about the airport?
The airport one.
It doesn't, it's already in the line item.
We got one here for the airport, get on to that. It says, this is from Larry Medlock, the Honorable Larry Medlock, Judge. Please transfer the following account, $3,000 from 2302 supplies for copier to account 23201-0031 pauper attorney. So we'll transfer 3,000 from copier to pauper attorney.
Do we have to approve the transfer of that?
It's out of separate categories.
Okay.
Do I have a motion as for that? Manship has made the motion, and a second? John Reynolds made second, so for discussion. Seeing none, we'll take to a vote. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same. Carried.
Can we talk about the airport thing?
Yes.
Bob's here. Where do we stand on land acquisition out there?
Because of the FAA having to, they had to drop back their 95%. Their grant to 90%. There's been other projects around the country that have stopped, so some more money has come available. We have applied for another $500,000. We've already done appraisals on a couple more properties out there, and I have to meet with the engineer on what she's going to offer them this week. We have started demolition of, we've already tore down Chris Roberts' house. We're in the process of taking bids on the sewer and water line to the airport. That's where we're at.
What do you think your chance of getting more money is?
Very good.
It's about the project.
Yeah, I mean, we've already spent the money for appraisals, and we have to show the need before they give it to us. So that's why we're meeting with them this week, the owners of the real estate, to get a viable offer and an accepted offer. We have to have an accepted offer before we turn it in. But they think we stand a good chance of getting the $300 million.
Is that grant money straight out? You have to match that?
We have to put our, they will go 90%. Another thing we're trying to do, there's been legislation presented to be able to go ahead with the 95% on any project that's already started. I guess because of study hasn't stopped. But that is in the process too, and they feel like that might happen.
That's federal
Yeah.
legislation.
And you know, anytime you're
I was gonna say, don't federal.
yeah, I think you can't bet on anything, and you can't put a time limit on anything.
But you have to match with the $500,000, you have to have 10% of that.
Right.
But the land can service that?
No,
No, you gotta have cash.
yeah, we've got to put our cash into it.
How many total acres is it as far as the total project?
but we're a little over 300 acres.
And how much do you have now?
Do you want to include the old airport or just the new?
Well, I'm trying to talk about the project and what you will have to buy. I'm trying to figure out how much more of that property.
Well, see, we're gonna use part of the old airport in that, and it's gonna, the total airport is gonna be over 300 acres, I think around 310. When it's completed, what we have bought now, I think it's around 100, close to 100.
So how much do you have to buy? Not counting the old airport.
Well, we're not gonna use very much of that old airport, so we're gonna have to buy 300 acres.
300 acres, so you have about a third of what you're buying.
I guess one of my thoughts, and, in my observation in this, is that the county made a commitment, to do this, if this was ongoing and secure, that it was gonna go.
Yes.
And I'm being advised by John Mead, your lawyer in there, that the documentation that says that is binding is there. What kind of documentation is it?
Interlocal agreement or local agreement.
Okay? How binding is that with the federal government with their budgets?
As far as the federal government, they had nothing to do with it.
So this,
Well, I perceive what you're asking is, the interlocal agreement shows that the air board can come up with that amount of money. They will look at that and say, okay, yes, for the, what's our totals? 3 times 75? 225, thank you. For the 225,000, it's almost like it's an indebtedness we owe. And they will say that interlocal agreement is good evidence of fulfillment of that indebtedness. So good faith in that. So they believe the air board has got $225,000 in its pocket.
I think what David's asking though is, what if the state or the federal government doesn't come up with their part?
The interlocal agreement is, we've had this discussion, is not contingent on that per se.
they can't build a $22 million airport by themselves.
Not disagreeing with that. Not disagreeing with that. But it doesn't have as part of the terms that it is contingent, our paying the 75 is contingent on that.
When this board was put together, it was under the assumption, or under the requirement, that we come up with our funding before we accepted the grant. This $225,000 was on this board's total before we agreed to the grant.
Was it understood that if it didn't go, what happens at 75, we were gonna pay 3 times?
I have no idea.
I think you're asking, I mean, they may be legitimate. If tomorrow the Washington County Air Board got a letter from FFA saying, no how, no way, you're off the board, we see no funding of your project, ever. You have been designated down to 250 out of 251 projects. Then I think there would be some serious discussions between the city, the air board, and the county about where do we go and what do we do with the remaining monies. Yeah. I think I have to have some faith that the air board would come and say, look, we've been told this thing's completely off the board, whether we got the $75,000 or not at this point. Because they got to do that to the city as well. The city's putting some money in.
Is that money in a fund? A fund that's being held escrow more or less?
No, that money's being used to buy property. To buy property, which is what they've got to do to continue getting the grants.
And if I understood Bob correctly, they're looking at closing out a couple of deals, and you need this money in order to
Right.
get this to do this grant deal that you're getting ready to do. You need this commitment today to further the potential of getting this other grant.
Correct, yeah.
I mean, if they got, hypothetically, if they got that letter, then yeah, the airport's gonna own 100 acres out here.
Yeah.
What ownership does the county have in that with their investment?
No.
But it would sure sour the relationship. if we
Yeah,
did something.
right.
Yeah, the mayor tried to.
I mean, it'd sour it all the way around, I think, with a lot of stuff. But that, I mean, that, you're asking legitimate hypothetical questions, but that's, you know,
I just, knowing the atmosphere that's going on with the national budgets and different things like that, and some of the fundings that have been pulled here, you know, in the recent times. I mean, I've been with the in the USDA, and I've seen a lot of projects that we put on the ground and were up and running and had administrative people and different things going on. And then within a month, we saw those fundings leave. We saw offices closed. We saw filing cabinets packed. I really, to me, that's the reason I was talking about a solidified document to say that this project was going. That's the reason I've asked it several times. I understand this binding agreement, you know, local agreement. But I know, let's don't be in a vacuum either, you know, of what's going on. I mean, that's the reason I wanted to know where the taxpayers' money was gonna be if the federal government pulls their funding off of these new projects, such as this airport.
I don't know what they would do about the property if they done that. No idea.
I mean, the county's not in the market to buy real estate.
Right. Neither is the city, or the airport.
Is there any contact with the senators and congressmen?
No.
Over that? Should there not be?
They don't know what's gonna happen either.
Well, I know that the wheel squeaks the louse gets the grease.
Well, that's true, that's true. But I don't know, I do know, Steve, the FAA, from what our engineers have told us, up until the Obama administration approved funding for the FAA, I don't think they really had any funding in 2 prior years. And they finally got some funding, but it was a requirement that they only go 90% instead of 95. So I do think we've got somebody fighting for a side and trying to get to 95.
Might be a good idea. Contact you,
And see who's gonna be the senator first.
well, it'd be an awful good time to contact. You know,
I know him real well.
Cause he may
If
not.
one gets it, I don't know the other one.
Yeah.
All right. The request has been for the 75,000 on this. Do I have a motion?
Do we need a motion?
don't need a motion. It's already line item. I mean, I think she just gave you this for your information about,
Try to say that
it's,
they pay the other stuff.
they've made their claim for it. It's in our budget. It's going out.
So no vote, right?
No, yeah, there's.
Well, I don't worry about it, but, I mean, it'll go to the commissioners, and it'll be for the commissioners to either approve
Yeah,
or
approve the claim or
deny the
not.
claim.
I mean, that's right. It's in there and it's, yeah.
It's their commitment.
Yeah, there's no vote that we need to do.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I guess that's why you gave the copy of the claim, is just let us know that
Just,
it's being done.
info.
Yeah, it's just information that we're committed.
Well, we're just having kind of an editorial there.
Yeah. So,
You know, just for public in there, you know, that is my reservations to the air board, is that, you know, if this was to be a tool for economic economic development or, you know, to do other things, which would be good to the county. But there is a lot of things hinge on the appropriated money from the federal government. And knowing that they're going and hashing and all kinds of things up there with the budgets and what's going on, I don't have a real good feeling of how secure that is. And in the case that it did, what would be plan B as far as, and I don't know if your property that you bought is all in a line of continuous property, if it could be utilized for something else, you know, in that, or if it's just scattered and spotted, you know, and that's my reservation. That's the reason I wanted something. I mean, I was asking for a rabbit out of a hat, you know, with the federal government, but I like to have a little bit more secure information whenever we're doing it. Because this is a very controversial subject, whether we need it or not.
Right.
With that, close the discussion.
I'd suggest that Air Board get in touch with Senator Young and our Congressman Young and their Senator anything, what's their senator's name?
Coates right
Young,
now.
Young Senator.
Coates.
Junior Senator. Coates, Senator Coates, and instill in them the importance and how we are that the county's putting 75 years, lay out a plan with them and, oh, have you? With Todd? Yeah. But I suggest you talk to Coates too.
We'll just, you know, talk to Aaron, Aaron Option.
All right, is there anything else on that? If not, we'll move on to our other business. And that, we've got this,
That, just informational purposes.
okay, from the Assembly of Development, you can receive that letter, and that just for information on that. Saying basically, our TIF district didn't have enough money to fund itself.
Well, no, the,
Well,
You just didn't get any excess. You just didn't get any excess. It's not, yeah, you just don't have any, the value of the TIF district's not growing enough to fund any bond revenue, basically, to
okay.
go out there and do anything with.
Other business, we've got budget hearings coming up, we've got a schedule here, and that, we got Wednesday, we've got, 1, 2.
since then I've added the health department.
All right, what time is that?
1:30, I mean, you'll get a revised one for it.
All right.
Michelle, is it up to us to plug in where we want to do the binding and non-binding on this schedule?
The binding will follow your all's budget, public hearing and adoption, which are solid waste in your fire districts.
Yeah. and
The
primary.
non-binding, I was hoping we could do them at the September meeting unless you're wanting to try to put them on your budget hearings. But they have to, I mean, I have to have your binding reviews
Turn back.
done by October, or not your binding, your non-binding done by October 1st.
That gives us the amount of time, falls within the reasonable amount of time once they give it to us, that we got to return for them. What is that, 30 days?
It's actually 15.
Is it 15? I couldn't remember which it was. We had a limited amount of time once we received. But if we do them in September meeting, that covers that time frame. Is that correct?
Now, no, the non-binding reviews, their budget's gotta come in for you so that we can
You
look
should
at.
have,
I pulled my copies.
I was
off
gonna say, they
yesterday.
should have been attached to your
Okay.
email.
They were.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the binding and the non-binding.
All right.
And you say that binding will be done after,
The binding follows your public hearing and adoption.
So is there anything we need to do else, whoever, whatever departments bring on to?
Is September okay? That first meeting in September okay for your bind, or non-binding?
Our regular meeting?
We need that as a motion to set that.
Don't think so.
No, you don't.
well, I was just looking at this budget hearing schedule. Nobody's asked for any of the department heads or, all right, I see highway department on here in Rondell.
I mean, if you wanna put them on the 15, 60%, that's fine.
I think that's why she's giving it to you.
Right,
that's what I'm saying.
You guys.
Had anybody reviewed it and seen anything, not take over for you?
I haven't yet.
Okay. But how much notice we need to give them in order?
Well, if
For them
you
to be
wanna
able to-
try to have any of them here, I mean, I would really need a
We're talking-
decision today.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, we're looking next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's next week, so yeah, I mean, if you want them to come, or try to get them to come during the hearings, I need to know.
Like the last time we did it, we only called the ones in that we wanted, you know, that we saw that there was issues, that we'd like to have some answers. Can you put them on call, that, these are, they're gonna be the times that we do the non-binding?
I mean, I can tell them they're gonna be your non-binding August 16th at whatever time, or the 17th. That's no guarantee they're gonna be here. They don't have to be here.
My suggestion is that we've got some open spaces in Thursdays and also Fridays, work. In fact, there's not much scheduled, there's only one on Friday, and there's two on Thursday. If we were gonna do that, I would strongly recommend that we put them on either in the morning of Thursday or in the afternoon of Thursday, and leave it open for non-binding.
We can do that, but, and I have no problem with doing that, and I don't know if anybody else does, not to speak for themselves. But here again, it's probably gonna be a repeat of last year, which is fine with me also.
You tell me what day what time.
For 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon.
For those in the non-binding that we'd like to discuss.
Right.
In the binding, we've got the Blue River Fire District, the Brown Vernon Fire District,
And solid waste.
solid waste, and those are the top three as they printed off.
Right, and those, once
Those
again,
are
are the
the ones
binding.
that-
Yeah, you have to, yeah.
You know, non-binding, we're gonna be looking at townships and civil units, so you have people, and then Hardsburg's even on there, but I think they're so close, we'll have to look at this year, but they'll be off by next year.
Will of the council,
I did.
What about, senior citizens and, why?
If they haven't called, we put on there to them.
And they basically come out that riverboat share, so. Last year, they actually submitted a request, and Margie Morris is on here for 9:30 Wednesday morning. And, yeah, I don't see any of the other senior citizens was on there last year. Outside of the walls or whatever that was, I seen somebody was on here.
the historic societies on it.
Yeah.
Could we try to get everybody like that in the first day?
We're open in the afternoon.
Yeah.
If we could-
What I'd like to see is the actual budget for the binding, not just these things,
I'll try to.
but what they're gonna spend, how they're gonna spend the money.
Tammy's, I know I can get, the solid waste. I don't know.
That would help, especially in the binding. I don't particularly great pain in those forms, anyway.
Well, that's all they're required.
Yeah, I know. Well, do you want the binding reviews in Wednesday, 2 o'clock, we're open.
Just do it, get them over.
Yeah, instead of just wondering what, we need to go ahead and schedule.
And those are the ones we can do something about. The
Exactly.
others we can
Yeah.
Right.
So August 15th, 2
rant
o'clock.
and rave or
For the
rant,
binding?
whatever.
2 o'clock, Wednesday, August the 15th, we're open from 2 till 4:30, 5 actually. And do you want to make that motion to go ahead and have binding review and that point?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Chip,
And Michelle, just
Merlin, second.
as we begin to go through and did anything change in the books that we got right now? I mean, we put an update or two in here, I think, the last time, but for some reason I thought we was redoing something.
We made that new fund with the Cadget fund, remember I explained
Yeah,
to you
right,
that?
yeah,
And so far, that's the only thing I know
that's the only thing.
changed.
Well, and of course, we had the 911, but it was already in here, the new fund, the way we were gonna be funded on 911, but it was already in here, that line item was already there. So, would it be fair to say that once we start, could we just put the department heads on notice? I say, Bob, here, that if we get into, the treasurer's deal, if we have a question, how fluent they would be about that? Or do you want to?
You really need to, if you want somebody, you really need to assign them a time, because, I mean, you've got court, you've got,
Right, okay.
yeah. They're not gonna sit around waiting for
I
3
think what we did
days.
last year was we really tried to go through and each
And then if we
budget,
had a need,
question,
then we called.
before we got here, then we called and let Michelle put them on notice.
Would that work again this year, I guess is my question? Without jeopardizing somebody's.
I mean, you want somebody
If
on
you like the
that?
way you did it last year, just leave it the way you did it last year.
We just started going through, last year went through, and then we held salary ordinance information to the last, and we kind of held revenue share kind of to the last, because we had heard from everybody at that time, and then we kind of pulled our thought process about what we would do, and we done an averaging deal, I think.
Well, I think everybody looked through all the budgets individually to see if there was anything that caught their eye and we needed an explanation for, and we told the people well ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that we just let Michelle know it when we go through this over the next week or so.
Yeah, if we take a look at it tomorrow, there's something to see, and I just email you that this is one I'd be interested in having some discussion with, but any of the other people, councilmen also would have the same opportunity.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does she know if they need better from senior group or line contractor?
I mean, they sit in a budget, I mean, just like Life Spring, and we
Yeah, we
would
got
all
all,
send
think all
extra
those are
budgets.
incorporated in here.
You may have,
So basically, what we're gonna say here is that if we review in the next couple of days, if all the council members take an opportunity to review their sheets, and there's somebody they find of interest, they want to discuss something, to notify you, so you can allow those people to know, and we'll set a time,
yeah, I'll
If
give
we
them a
can do
time,
that.
yeah.
if that works.
Fine, do you want to take off?
Well, to be scheduled open for that, if they schedule it.
Let's try to schedule all the people who want to talk to us too that first day if they can.
Thank you.
You haven't got first day anymore.
Well, I mean,
It's
we've only
possible.
got 3 binding reviews, right?
Yeah.
There, we could, give them half an hour, to be done at 3:30, there it is.
August 15th for the binding, now, would we decide on the non-binding?
September, the meeting in
Well, I
September.
thought they wanted to try to get them in at the,
I would like
Oh,
to.
well, then go ahead. That's what Parks.
My thoughts is, even though you can't, I think that the review during the budget process, that, to get our minds of where we're at in the thought process, I'd like to have them on notice, for non-binding, they might be pulled in. And we've got open slots in Friday in the morning, we've also got Thursday, both morning and afternoon, quite a bit open. My thought process is to have that started at 10:30 for a binding, non-binding review and on-call, and adjust their office hours accordingly to be available.
You can do whatever you wanna do.
I can tell them that, but I
But
can
here's the
tell
good
you,
news.
none of them
They're
will
only
sit
gonna
around
do
waiting
what
on
they
that
wanna
phone
do.
call.
I mean, if you wanna say we would really like to have you in, you need to tell them a time to be here. I mean, yeah, as a courtesy, I mean, I plan my day, unless it's a judge saying I may call you between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I don't keep myself open for, I mean, some other lawyer says I may call you between then and then, I don't stick around my office for that phone call.
If they're not called, if they're not called in to, to justify their budget and that, then they're not meeting. Well, that's what we've been doing with the non-binding on that. So, 10:30 on, Thursday is open.
Or just tell them all to come in at 10:30 and see who shows up and who doesn't.
I think any member can call anybody they want to that's budget. I mean, I, to be honest, haven't gone through all of the budgets yet. There may be somebody I want. But I think we just let Michelle know who we want where.
10:30 and 17.
Right after Mike Gray and Outside Walls. Is that agreeable, 10:30? Okay. All right, anything else, other business to be held, taken care of? Go around, John, got anything? Mervin?
No.
Ben? Anything from you, Mark? Michelle? Kelsey?
We still got that.
Yes. Yeah, you got the resolution.
Marcia?
You want to pay attention to the public.
Bob?
Yeah, last meeting, Marvin had asked me to see if we could pull up all the exemptions on real estate. We can. That's big, because there's some people that don't even pay property tax for all exemptions.
I know it'd probably be a surprise.
Yeah. You probably have nightmares about it too. That's all I have.
Okay, John?
Yeah, first I'd like to thank the council for paying off this overpayment Medicare. And I think St. Vincent Salem Hospital Board will be pleased with that. And John Lyons, the CFO, has worked diligently to get this reduced from original around 1.5 to 85,023. So he's been a big help to get this reduced. I'm glad to see it get paid off. St. Vincent's poured in quite a few $1 million into the hospital. And I'm happy for that. We have a hospital board meeting Thursday morning. If they don't already know it, I'll report that the council decided to pay that off. Also, the $20,000 that Harrison County gave us for disaster relief, I would like for the council and the commissioners to sign a letter thanking them. And one from each group, take the letters down and give it to them at a county council meeting where the commissioners are usually there too, representative money. They've been very good to us with their riverboat money. I truly appreciate it as one. I know everybody else does too, so. That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else, John? Okay. Mr. Rainbow?
Well, I'm sure everybody's aware we had a changing of the guard at the park. Jerome has give us his resignation, and Alvin Bergman was the assistant manager out there, and so we moved him up to be the manager, and then we're in the process, he is in the process of hiring an assistant manager. Jerome had some family things that he needed to get a handle on, and apologized for having to bow out. But I told him that we were forever indebted to him for stepping in at a hard time and get the park where it's at today. Other than that, they're still making money and everything's going fairly smooth.
I feel like the board pretty well understands the cumulative building fund and,
It took a while, but they do. It's just, now we've got several issues. We just gotta figure out what we wanted, what needs to be the priority to what we wanna fix. We're still having electric issues out there that some of us feel that we need to head that way. We're working on it.
okay. All right, Marlon.
What, status of the timber cut?
It's on hold, they call it taboo now. It's only on hold because it's just heated discussion, you know, we felt like we needed some, there's two different things going on there. One is, a lot of people think that we just wanna go in there and cut trees because we want the money. It's not really that we wanna cut the trees for the money, there's trees in there that it is another crop. I mean, it's no different than your corn or your soybeans. When they're mature, they need to be thinned out. And heaven forbid we'd ever have a forest fire like they've had out west. But if you just sit on them trees and you don't get some of your mature ones out, then you've lost your ones you could have had some money on. And then that goes back to, no, I don't really want the park to have a ton of money in the bank. But there's so many issues that we're still facing with the plumbing, the electric, that just has to be fixed. And we've got to come up with solutions on how to do that. You know, if the electric company says that they can put meters on each one of the sites up there, which I think's a must. You know, right now, the people pay their rent, and we pay for the electric. You take the summer, you know, running their air conditioners and stuff. We finally had one person say, you know, my air conditioner's not working real well. And he said, I had an electrician come out here, and he told me I've only got 86 volts coming to my cabin. So, you know, we're supposed to be supplying electricity. So that's one place that I think that if we found some mature trees, we could come up with $150,000, and that way put them on meters, and then the people would have to go to the electric company, just like you would renting anywhere else. They pay the deposit, and they can run their air conditioner and their heaters as long as they want to, and it won't cost the county nothing. So, that's still my vision.
Has there been any money from the state forestry division or anyone that would have the expertise to go through the woods and actually say, okay, this tree needs to be cut because it's going the other way? I know there's certain species of trees, beech is one, maybe there's not a beech tree out there, I don't know.
We have never even got that far. You know, we never did get past the discussion of,
Like Little Yard?
you know, yeah. I mean, you never did get past the discussion on having someone come out and do that.
Okay.
And we still want to. Lester was gonna be in charge of that, but he's down now. So, I've asked somebody else to step up and do it, either myself or one of the other guys. I still would like for somebody to come out there and say, you know, there are some trees that need to come out, or there's not. And it's all gonna be on the south side of the lake, over the hills. I mean, it's not gonna be something that people's gonna be seeing. Lester did talk to the state and said that they would give us access from Spurgeon Hollow back to it. So it's gonna be an area that does not travel that well anymore.
Has it ever been done before?
That's a sore subject. Yes.
What happened then?
And the trees disappeared, don't know where the money went. But that's, you know, I don't have proof on that.
No, not necessarily, because when they cut them trees, that money did come into the auditor's office as we see, where they received money for doing that.
I don't know exactly what the situation.
I mean, I don't know if it's all I know some did come in to the office where they were cutting trees.
How long ago was that?
That's been several years ago.
I was gonna say,
Tim, was Morris said anything about the restaurant this year? How was that one?
He's still open and doing well with it,
How late's he gonna stay open?
as the park does, to November, I guess.
He hadn't said how it went?
Other than he's been tickled with it, I mean, he didn't give me any figures of what he had made, but,
He's planning on coming back?
I haven't got him to commit to that, but he hasn't run off, so that's good too.
You have an update on Lester?
What's that?
You have an update on Lester?
Well, he got, Lester, you can't keep him down, and when he got out the first time, he got to doing too much, and when they went back over for a checkup, the screws and stuff were all backing out of that deal, and his legs got all swollen up, and they had to put a different cast on there, and every time he gets up out of bed, it swells, and they're supposed to go in there and do another surgery, I think. Might even be this week.
Any other questions? Not, Gerald?
I'll give you an update on Rick. He's home, he's pretty weak. And his daughter told me this morning that he's scheduled to go back to Cleveland Wednesday for some more tests, checkups, to be sure the lungs are doing what they're supposed to do. That's about all I have on him. That's all I have of his.
Road, fair, paving and fair.
There's a little bit more to do in the first, and a little bit more to do in the third. As far as the fair, they had some issues with the mud bog, I heard, with the light bulb. I dug the pit Friday morning and covered it back up Saturday morning for the demo. Demo went fine, well, I understand it. They're over that, clearing everything back out, putting it back to normal. I guess we'll be hauling the rest of the barn out wherever they move the pigs up.
Yeah. Rhonda?
nope.
Sarah? Anything else to be brought before this council at this time? We got a commissioners meeting, that's tomorrow.
Okay.
You
I
pop?
have one thing good coming out of the airport.
There you go.
We had two properties that had double lines on them. We have given those to the tornado disaster relief from Washington County. They're supposed to move them out in 2 weeks.
On that note also, disaster relief, food truck was supplied, and our CEO got $1.5 million for Clark in Washington County. And this is not loans, no interest loans, it's free money, so if you know somebody hadn't applied, they need to call out to Hoosier Uplands officer at the Head Start building where the offices are, and be on the list.
Okay. If not, I'm looking for a motion. Well, who's gonna go to commissioners?
John said he
John?
What time is your meeting? Public meeting?
Let's see, 9.
9?
Commissioner Reynolds. Any more business to be brought forward? If not, I'm gonna take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Ken Ball makes that motion, second. Merv Fisher, all in favor, swing.